the 2026 PFF Women's League, and this is Kaya FC Iloilo against De La Salle University Lady Booters. Both sides are no stranger to silverware in the PFF Women's League. Of course, out of the five titles, they share every single one. DLSU with three, and Kaya with two. Our match officials for today, our main referee is Jesus Abogado. Our assistant referee is Analu Arrogante. Our other assistant referee is Paul Galicia, and our fourth official is Joma Clemente. Kaya, the defending champions, have started in hot form. They've scored 11 goals in their first two games against UP and FEU, and they remain top of the league after their first two games by 3 points. They've not yet kept a clean sheet, though. Will today be the day? On the other side of the pitch are the De La Salle Lady Booters. They started their campaign off with a win against UP, a 1-0 close win, but then they yielded 2-0 to FEU in the next. They will feel hard done by the result, but they will try everything to get back and redeem themselves today. The question is, with the formidable opposition that they face, are they going to be able to snatch a win? These two sides have faced off twice before, and Kaya have come out on top both sides. And FEU, La Salle are hoping that this time will be the time that the curse is broken. Plenty of talent on both sides. Kaya's side, although they don't have Captain Haley Long anymore, they're still bannered by international World Cup bound talent that includes Ina Palacios, 51 caps with the Filipinas. She only retired from international football last year after winning the SEA Games. Inday Tolentin, 2 goals in her Filipinas career. They both came last year against Timor-Leste. Other players with international experience include Mai Mendaño and Shela Kadag and Charissa Lemoran. On the side of La Salle, although there isn't as much experience, there is just as much hunger for the team to do well. That includes last season's UAAP top scorer for the team, Danny Tanhanko, as well as Rookie of the Year, Jody Banzon, who are both in the starting 11 today. Let's run to the starting 11s for both teams. Kaya are fielding a stronger 11 than what they fielded last time against FEU. That includes the return of Palacios. They're also fielding that deadly double duo up front of Tolentin and Tolentino, combining for 8 goals so far in the PFF. They are both the top scorers. And La Salle are going to prefer their 4-5-1 as we get the game kicked off. Kaya with the first possession. Immediately starting with a high press. We saw this last time against UP. They scored 2 goals in the first 8 minutes into the shot there. But the keeper, Jessica Pido, is alert to the danger. La Salle building down the left-hand side. That's Kia Balateria. Mendaño. Kadag lifts it forward. It's a searching ball down to the left-hand side, and Alex Carpio chases it down. And she wins an early corner for Kaya, not even 1 minute into the game. Kaya starting on the front foot. Remember, when they faced off against UP last week, they scored 2 goals in the first 8 minutes. They eventually won that game 7-1. Still haven't kept a clean sheet. They will be looking to improve that defensive display today. Inday Tolentin stands over the corner. It's a shallow delivery. La Salle try hastily to clear it. The ball bounces around. Kaya still pressing. Tolentin gets it back. Her shot is deflected and into the grateful hands of Pido. Referee whistles for a foul. Pido had a really good goalkeeping display the last 2 games against UP and FEU. Today she'll be just as involved, if not more, against the defending champions, the nation's representatives in the AFC Women's Champions League. Although there are only 4 teams this season, does not mean that the team will take it any less seriously. On the coaching paddock for Kaya is David Basa, former PFL player, 96 appearances in the PFL UFL for Global and for JPV Marikina and for Maharlika. Also has 5 caps with the national team. Retired just 2 years ago. As LaSalle find themselves in the free kick in Kaya's half. Soon lifts it forward. Dangerous delivery, but Kaya able to clear it. That's Laika Cuenco. Cuenco was actually instrumental in Kaya's last PFF Women's League campaign. She scored the winner that would eventually give them the title in a match against Makati FC. That game ended 2-1. It was the last game of the season. And it was in the dying minutes of the game that Cuenco popped up and scored. Of course, Kaya's opponents that game, Stallion, not participating in this season. And while they represented the Philippines last year in the AFC Women's Champions League, Kaya this time will be representing the country. The games are actually kicking off this AFC Women's Champions League in August, as Kaya will travel to Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan next month. Their group includes Ilbris of Kyrgyzstan, Phnom Penh Crown of Cambodia, and TSL of Hong Kong, actually bannered by a few people that Kaya will be familiar with, including Isabella Wandoha, who used to be Women's League top scorer with Tuloy, now playing in Hong Kong, and she'll face her countrymen next month. Tolentino with the throw. It falls to Tolentino, her strike partner. Been very dangerous on the left and right hand side so far this campaign. As she does there, she weaves past 3 players, searching for bodies in the middle. The shot is deflected again, it stalls in the middle. Pido picks it up. But again, you see how dangerous Kaya can be whenever Tolentino get on the ball. LaSalle will be looking to nullify those threats, especially because both the goals against FEU came from the wings. The first goal in the 2-0 loss actually came from Cristobal. It was a lofted cross that was left the keeper unsighted. And the second goal was a wonderful solo attempt that came again from that left-hand side and that side of the pitch. FEU, they're playing later, but they've had a number on LaSalle over the years. Season 88 in UAP, they beat them in the final 2-0. They beat them 3-2 in the final the year before that, and they beat them 2-1 in the year before that. The last few UAP finals have been a succession of LaSalle FEU finals, and every time so far, FEU has come out on top. Of course, UAP doesn't start until August and September, and these college teams like LaSalle are using it as preseason, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be any less intense on the pitch. Ray Chan, one of the few players on this Kaya team with international experience, played games in the US and was first called to the national team when she was with Stallion. The other one on the pitch, as we said before, is Carpio. Played with Oakland Soul in the lower leagues of the women's division. We haven't mentioned her so far, but you can see the number 33 on your screen there playing at center back is defender Saki Yoshida, Kaya's foreign Japanese import. Actually, the only foreign import of the entire women's league, if I'm not mistaken. Played games in Myanmar and in Japan and in Taiwan. And Chan is her defensive partner. Kadag. Here's Yoshida, first time on the ball. It's a searching ball. LaSalle heads it away. Danyoso, the only goal scorer in that win over UP. And there's an area of free space there, but Yoshida, in the way, cleans it up. She takes a tumble, and the ref doesn't call for a foul as LaSalle press on. Back to that formidable back two that they have of Soon and the other Pido. One of the UAP's best defenses last year. Their mettle will be tested today, though. The sunny day here at the Adidas football pitch is actually formerly known as the MOA football field. It was rechristened last year in a ceremony with the Filipinas in their homecoming. If you can see the Adidas sign on the outside of the entrance. First games actually held here were the PFF Women's League games in 2023. That's the season that Kaya won. But it has also hosted PFL Final Series games. The last game to be held there was in May 2025, which was a game between Manila Digger and Cebu, in which Cebu won. Most recently, however, it also hosted the 2025 PFF Women's Cup. The last game of that was a 2-2 draw between this team, Kaya, and Stallion. Although the cup was never concluded, and we haven't seen yet anything about Stallion, but back to the action. Kaya pressing high. Kadag lofts the ball out. Tolentin looks to put a cross in. Fakes it. Crosses it. Pido. Safe hands from the keeper. As LaSalle tried to build some steam and obstructed in doing so, and that will be a free kick. And a Kaya player taking tumble there. I think that was after a collision with Megan Alforque. That's Mai Mendaño. Made her Filipinas debut in 2018 and played in the SEA Games in 2019. That was hosted here in the country. That's Balateria hassling Chan, and she has to put it out. That's good pressure from LaSalle. They win a throw in deep in the Kaya half. It's worth noting that Kaya haven't kept a clean sheet yet in their 2 games. They were scored against in the first half in FEU, against FEU in the opening match day. And then sub-keeper Kim Parina's clean sheet was ruined in the most spectacular fashion against UP in the second match day. It was a lofted goal from nearly the halfway line by Arañas of UP. UP, of course, will play against FEU later at 7 p.m. Don't forget to catch the game live here on the PFF Women's League and Philippine Football Federation Facebook. Searching ball out and just too much on it. That's on the side of, I think that is Tolentino. Very similar in name to her strike partner in the Tolentino, and they're also similar on the pitch. They both are the top scorers of this women's league so far, 4 goals. Tolentino has had a brace in each game. Tolentino has had a brace in each game. Tolentino scored a hat-trick against UP in that 7-1 win last week, including a really superb curling goal that was impossible for the UP keeper to save. Will she pull off anything today? Intercepted by Bebe Lemoran. Tries to take on one too many bodies, and a LaSalle defender gets in the way and clears it. But not far enough because it's back in Kaya half. Possession is just ricocheting between both sides. LaSalle were relatively untroubled in their game against UP, but it was a different test against FEU. Of course, a lot of the LaSalle players will be familiar with these Kaya players, a lot of them with FEU experience. Cuenco played for FEU. Julieza also on the pitch. Joyce Onrubia on the bench, also from FEU. They've won many PFF UAAP titles. But contrary to that, it's actually Salle who are the UAAP team with the most women's league titles. They won 3 straight in 2016, 17, and 18. In fact, it's quite a strange coincidence as the ball reaches Pido. Quite a strange coincidence that both sides here are the only victors of the PFF Women's League. They've shared all the titles between them. As Palacios, nervous moments there, but she keeps her cool. That was Tanhanko pressing. Again, LaSalle's top scorer last season. But going back to what I was saying, these teams have shared every single women's league title between them. LaSalle won the first 3. Kaya won the last 2 editions. And yet they've only ever met each other twice, and that was in the 2023 women's league season. Kaya won both times. They won 2-1 in the group stage, and then they won 2-1 in the playoffs in the semifinals. It was actually former LaSalle forward Angelica Teves who scored first there before Kaya came back through goals from Shalakadag, who just made the pass, and Hazel Lustan. As the LaSalle defender is too much for them. Crossed in by Tolentine, but no body found. Kaya have tried that right-hand side multiple times, but so far not found any success there. Battling for the ball there is Irish Navaja. My apologies, Christine Juliaza, former FEU talent. Oh, thank you. Balateria launches it forward. Kadag picks it up onto Mendaño. Too much on the pass for Tolentine. She tries to keep it into play, but it's just too much on it. Kaya opting for the usual 4-3-3 in possession. They usually occupy a 4-4-2 in possession. My apologies. They occupy a 4-3-3 out of possession, as you can see there. Tolentine on the right wing usually moves up to striker. But LaSalle on the ball now. They usually opt for a 4-5-1. Better defensively, and they'll need it today. Slack back pass there. Carpio picks it up. LaSalle headed away again. Almost a collision there between Chan and Tanhanko. And Tanhanko picks up the loose ball down the right-hand side. Hassled by two Kaya players. And she gets past both. In fact, she gets past both, and the Kaya defense had to stop her at any means at a cost of a free kick at the edge of the Kaya box. This will be the first real test for Ina Palacios in goal. 51 appearances with the national team, a career spanning 15 years internationally. Finally retired after winning the SEA Games for the first time in a dramatic penalty shootout against Vietnam last December. Also part of the squad that qualified for the World Cup in 2022 and in 2026. Again in 2026, though she wasn't part of the squad in the AFC Women's Asian Cup. Soon stands over this. LaSalle piling players into the box. As referee Jesus Abogado blows the whistle. It's a deep delivery, but it's too deep. As the ref whistles for, I think it's going to be a hydration break. Seen this time and again in the World Cup. These much talked about hydration breaks, of course, in the country and in Southeast Asia in general, they're mandated because of the heat. It's a very hot day right now, and the sun is out. It's been an object of concern also internationally how these hydration breaks can change momentum and sway the game in favor of each side. Of course, neither side today has built up much momentum so far, but it might be a chance for Kaya to regroup, a chance for LaSalle to regroup. Kaya so far have enjoyed more of the attacking opportunities, but have not seriously troubled Pido in goal yet. LaSalle haven't forced Ina Palacios to a save either, and that free kick that they took before the hydration break was their clearest chance. This was Kaya's clearest chance. Nearly fell to Tolentino in the box. But so far, all the balls have been delivered straight to the hands of Jessica Pido. Person you see at the bottom of your screen, Bebele Moran, played with Stallion last season, also in the AFC Women's Champions League. Her and Chan suited up for the team from Laguna. They actually faced a number of really good Asian sides in the AFC Women's Champions League last season. They made it out of the group stage in a group with Ho Chi Minh City and Melbourne City and the Line City Sailors before bowing out to eventual runners-up Tokyo Verdy Belleza of Japan. Kaya FC, this time in the AFC Champions League, are, again, as we mentioned earlier, in a group with TSL of Hong Kong, Phnom Penh Crown of Cambodia, and Ilbris of Kyrgyzstan. Of course, it's just the qualifiers for the main group stage. But Kaya will be backing themselves. Of course, nothing is a given. And this is why this Women's League will also be important in helping build up chemistry, helping build up familiarity, and help build up and shake off the rust of the off-season. They are not a college team, so they won't have the latter half of the season of any league play, whereas Salle will enjoy a 4 month long UAP season. It used to be 10 games long, but now 8 games long, double round robin. Kadag. Carpio, her pass misses her target. Tanhanko picks it up. And no one for LaSalle in attacking areas so far. Kai have done well to stifle them in that regard. As Palacios swings it out wide to Yoshida. Helieza. Almost fell to Mendaño there. This is a chance for LaSalle. It's a bouncing ball in a dangerous area, but it bounces favorably for Palacios. LaSalle trying to build a bit of momentum, trying to remain compact and patient. Teams like Kaya, with their quality, can break you down at any moment, as we saw against UP. They can use any avenue of attack. As the high press there catches out Pido, and that long-range attempt from, I think it was Alex Carpio, gratefully sails over the bar. Again, we saw a goal like that scored in Kaya's last game, although it was against Kaya. Subkeeper, I think it was subkeeper Kim Pariña caught off her line by UP player Arañas. Again, though, the league is no strangers to spectacular goals. If you remember, in the 2023 season, we even had a goalkeeper score. It was Filipinas shot stopper Olivia McDaniel scored a free kick in the Women's League that year from nearly the halfway line. And until last season, was the only keeper to score professionally in the Philippines. Of course, the other one is now Timothy Shiraoka of Aguilas Yumac in the PFL. He scored a last-minute equalizer against the male counterpart Stallion in the PFL in dramatic circumstances, very controversial circumstances too. As Kadag Tolentin tries to swing it out wide. It was a very subtle pass, but LaSalle were able to read it. And that was Banzon cutting it out. She was last season's Rookie of the Year. Often placed down the right and left-hand side in the wing, but she's dropping deeper a lot more this time. As Tolentin wins another corner for Kaya. That's their second corner. They won the first one in the first minute. But so far, nothing has come of these attempts just yet. It's not Tolentin standing over this. It's Christine Julieza, the right back. Yoshida, an aerial threat in the box. As the ball looks for a Kaya player, it matches the boot of Mendaño, but not enough contact there. You see their left back, Kia Balateria. Her sister is also on the pitch, Kay. LaSalle are no stranger to sister duos, of course. In their golden age, you had under Coach Hans Smith the Castañeda sisters, Sarah and Annika. Annika last year contracted with Kaya and was part of that squad that qualified for the Women's World Cup this year. Of course, the Men's World Cup is still ongoing, but the Women's World Cup, as that's a shot from distance, but Palacios confidently claims it. The Women's World Cup will be next year, for those wondering. Next June and July in Brazil, the home of Hoga Bonito. And the Filipinas will have, as I said by the PFF, the Filipinas will have a detailed run-up up to that. They will play their first window and maximize everything. Of course, the first window is the Asian Games in September. Those will be held in Japan. And then in October, they will face South American opposition, just like last time. In December, a battle against Asian and Oceanian opponents. In February, we have the Pinatar Cup, our third try in the competition. In April, we will have our Olympic qualifiers. And in June, just before the World Cup, friendlies against more teams in Brazil itself. Of course, it's not just a women's team participating in the Asian Cup, but it was announced last month that the under 23 men's team were qualified also. Of course, they didn't qualify because of their lesser standing in the AFC under 23 Asian Cup qualifiers. And they've just missed out on the AFC under 23 Asian Cup because of not being one of the top runners up. But because of the withdrawal of India and of Australia, the Philippines are now qualified for that. That will run in September as well, as that cross sails out harmlessly. Been the story of Kaya's match so far, trying to prioritize wing play with Carpio and with Tolentino. Two of their international standouts, of course, but nothing so far has significantly troubled LaSalle. So on, looks for Banzon. Lovely tricky touch there, but just too much on it and it goes out. Kadag, orchestrating everything from the midfield so far. Hasn't been as vocal or as loud as she usually is. Carpio, again, there's a disconnect down that left-hand side for Kaya. The ball just taking a few bounces as it's a slack pass. Tolentino almost in there, but Pido is quick off her line. Sneaky little back pass there. It looked like it was sailing harmlessly out, but the backspin on that just made it drop deadly in a dangerous spot right at the edge of the box. That's a dangerous spot for LaSalle. Important win there from Chan. Carpio again. Said the name a lot in the last few minutes. Kaya been very active down this left-hand side. Lemoran. Back to Chan. Yoshida, now she's pressing very high, almost at the halfway line, actually just past the halfway line. Tolentino, this is a good spell of possession for Kaya. Can they capitalize on it? Back to Mindanyo. Back to Julieza. Again, Kaya known for playing this brand of possessive football in the PFL for a long time, even the men's team under former coach Yu Hoshide. This attractive, proactive style of possession football and always recycling. Patience over on the ball. We see it with the Kaya squad here. They're always going to pass it back when they don't see a pass on. Switch the ball when one side is too heavily guarded. Yoshida. Kadag. That was Limaran, my apologies. Back to Chan. Julieza. Lovely turn by Carpio past her player, and that's a searching ball. Again, Tolentino on the end of it, but again, Pido are equal there. She is able to read the play early, get to those dangerous passes lofted just in behind the LaSalle defense. They're not playing a high line, but it's high enough just that these passes can drop behind and catch the LaSalle defense sleeping, but Banzon, sneaky move here. LaSalle on the attack, that's Tanhanko. Tanhanko! That's the first real chance of the game for either side. That is just wide of Ina Palacios' left post. That is a wake-up call to Kaya. They have been relatively untroubled all game. But it was a really good touch and control from Danny Tanhanko. And how about this from Isabella Banzon? You can see in the replay. Really lovely chest control as Tanhanko shakes off Yoshida, fires it, and it's just wide of the post. Encouraging signs for LaSalle. It's their first big opportunity. It's the first big opportunity of the game, actually. So they look to build in this momentum down the left-hand side. Again, loose passes from Kaya now. As Yoshida picks up the ball. LaSalle, oh, it's a careless giveaway from Yoshida. Banzon onto Danyoso. LaSalle not able to capitalize, but again, another slack pass, another hospital pass from Kaya. They've been so secure in the ball so far, but LaSalle have been pressing higher. Warning signs for the women in yellow. Yoshida. Not involved so much in the first 5 minutes, but the last 5 minutes has been a figurehead in this Kaya defense as they build up. Again, almost at the halfway line. Although this could be a kryptonite for Kaya when they give the ball away, as they do here. Luckily, Inday recovers. But again, it's asking for trouble when you have a defense like LaSalle and they're ready to attack. And you have these runners in behind, like Danyoso, like Tanhanko, like Banzon, willing runners who are able to catch the Kaya defense sleeping. If you remember, Danyoso was actually the only goal scorer of LaSalle so far this women's league. She scored early on in the 21st minute, I think, against UP in the opening game. She was actually the first goal of the entire league. LaSalle ended up winning that game almost 1-0. And then they lost their second game to FEU, courtesy of goals from Cristobal and Pabuaya. As Kaya worked the ball down on the right-hand side, but there's no one at the back post there. As LaSalle hurriedly cleared away, that was Stephanie Gonya, the right back. Just to have you touch there from Tolentin. LaSalle not looking that uncomfortable on the ball, but Kaya are pressing high. Again, it's a center back duo, a tall, imposing center back duo of Jelly Pido and Helena Pido and Jelly Soon. As Balateria picks it up, Kadag again. I don't know how many times I've said her name, but she's been very instrumental this time for Kaya from deep. Danyoso, though, signature headband, sprints past a couple of players, runs into a brick wall in Rhea Chan. "30 minutes have gone by, half an hour has passed, and it's still goalless. If you're just joining the stream, the best chance of the game has actually gone to LaSalle. It was a chance in the 25th minute from Danny Tanhanko. Shot off a counterattack, just whizzed past the post. Kaya have had a lot of shots. They've peppered Jessica Pido's net, but nothing so far to really trouble her, force her into a crucial save. It's not like Kaya. Usually they are by far the better attacking team. They've scored 11 goals in their first two games, 4 against FEU, 7 against UP. As Tolentino looks for Tolentin streaking down the right-hand side. She cuts inside, but her pass doesn't find anyone. It's cleared again by LaSalle defense. Mendaño, again, a Kaya player touches the ball and the LaSalle player is there to pick up the loose pieces. As the referee signals another hydration break. And it's hot out there. If you're anywhere in the Moy area and it's hot out there, if you need a place to watch football, if you need a place just to pass the time, spend it here at the Adidas football pitch. Admission is free, and the football is really good. Of course, you get to see players here who are bound for the Women's World Cup next year. Not every day that you get to say that. Of course, despite the hot action, neither team has gotten off to a hot start yet. Kaya started strong, but they've fizzled out. LaSalle haven't been really able to capitalize on momentum. You can see here, chance of the game so far. It was a Kaya corner. Fell to Mai Mendaño, but just wasn't able to make contact. And this is the LaSalle chance I was talking about. Really good pickup. My apologies. That was a different chance by Danyoso, straight into the arms of Palacios. And this was a chance for Kaya. A ball with backspin lofted over the defense, but Pido able to safely collect it. Again, lovely turn from Alex Carpio there and almost finding Tolentino again. But Pido, again, alert on her feet. And this is the chance I was talking about, I think. Lovely control there from Judy Banzon. And it's a lovely through ball to Tanhanko. Sprints past Yoshida. Fires it. I'm not sure if Palacios got a hand to it, but either way, it was just past the left-hand side post. LaSalle are a dangerous side in transition. But so far, Kaya have not been breached. And neither have LaSalle. Again, this is not the only game today. 7 p.m. there will be a game between the UP Fighting Maroons, the UP Lady Booters, and the FEU Lady Booters. The teams of FEU and UP. FEU, of course, perennial UAP champions. UP finished last season, but they will be looking for redemption this season. The hydration break over, and Kaya restarts the play with a throw-in in LaSalle territory. Cleared hastily. Tolentino. It's a lovely flick, but again, a LaSalle body in the way there. Back the box. As Tanhanko looks to run with the ball, and she's taken out by the left back. I think that's like a Cuenco. She wins another free kick for LaSalle, and Cuenco gets a yellow card for her troubles. It's the first booking of the game for Kaya. LaSalle win a free kick partially in Kaya's territory near the middle of the pitch. I think this will be Gonya taking it. Gonya's ball into the box, deflected off a Kaya body, cleared out by Carpio, and it falls back to the LaSalle player who tries one from distance. I think that was one of the center backs. Goes well wide of Palacios' net. Ina Palacio, of course, three-time PFF Women's League winner. She won it in the inaugural season in 2016 with LaSalle for graduating, and then won it again with Kaya in 2023 and 2025. She's also won a UAP title with LaSalle, that golden generation of Sara Castaneda, as Pido gets out again. Again, just the ball deflects off her hands, but it is just inside the box. It's another looping ball that drops just in front of the LaSalle box. It's a lovely chest control from Tanhanko as LaSalle look to counter. Again, nothing doing in the build-up though. Yoshida. Surging run forward. She opts to play it safe to the right back, Christine Julieza. Yoshida back to Chan. It's a good ball out to the left-hand side. That's where Alex Carpio is. Carpio also one of the players who was in the squad that qualified for the Women's World Cup in New Zealand. No, not in the Women's Asian Cup in Australia. Of course, she was on the pitch as the Filipinas won that 2-0 game against Uzbekistan. Goals from Angie Beard and Jackie Savitsky, which sealed our place in our second successive Women's World Cup. We're the second ASEAN side to do that after Thailand, of course. Pido passes it out to Soon. LaSalle's right backs, LaSalle fullback pushing very high up the pitch. Again, they can do that now on that right-hand side because Cuenco is on a yellow. Yellow just basically handicaps you for the rest of the game, as we've seen before. You're not able to make risky 50-50 tackles as much as you want. You're not able to press as hard as you want. Cuenco now is on a tightrope. Another risky foul, and she could be at risk of a sending off as Mendaño picks it up. And Tolentino, not enough purchase on the header. Pido, again, I think that's her 5th save, if you count it as a save. But nothing really to stress the Salle defense, nothing really to test her. Yoshida wins the header in LaSalle territory, then she retreats. Carpio plays it back to Cuenco. Again, Cuenco, UAP champion with FEU a couple of seasons ago, along with her fullback partner, Christine Juliaza. A lot of UAP talent all over this pitch for Kaya. Mendaño with LaSalle. We have USC graduates with Shela Kadag and Bebe Lemoran. On LaSalle side, of course, you have 2 of their front line, Jody Banzon, Rookie of the Year last season, and Danny Tanhanco, their top scorer with 3 goals. Tanhanco threatening earlier in this match. Best chance of the game so far. As another giveaway in that area, and Danyoso plays it. Banzon sprints to get it. But she does nothing with it as Kaya get the ball back. Lemoran robbed of possession there. She was not checking a rearview mirror. Tanhanco. Robbed by Mendaño. Again, the final ball is missing there for Tolentino, but slack LaSalle defending. Luckily, they recover just in time. Gonye. Ball just taking a lot of knocks in the middle of the pitch. No side either able to claim possession. Kaya have weathered that storm from a few minutes ago. Now they're back in control as Yoshida's searching ball finds Tolentino again on the right-hand side. Couple of step overs. Fake inside. And her shot was not that far away. Tolentino's been very dangerous down this right-hand side for Kaya so far. Not able to score as she usually does. But Kaya are growing into this. As so on. Lovely pass. Been very good outlet for Banzon there. Able to find Banzon so on. Again, lovely move. She beats her defender. It falls to Mendaño. Can she take a shot? She takes it, deflects it. Tolentino. And that is actually Alex Carpio with the opening goal for Kaya. It took a few deflections. It took 40 minutes, but Kaya have finally taken the lead. And that's Alex Carpio. It's her 2nd goal of the season. She scored, as you remember, against FEU. I think it was FEU. But it's a cross. Again, Tolentino down the right-hand side. Mendaño, her shot takes a deflection. And Carpio just picks up the pieces there. The first time that this LaSalle side has been caught flat-footed and in slack defending. She's onside because of Pido's positioning. Very good work from Kaya there. Of course, credit should be given to everyone, but especially to both Carpio and Tolentino. She's been threading down the right-hand side, and that's the first time that it properly pays off for Kaya. As the mighty Kaya look to build on this advantage. We've seen it before in the Women's League and in the PFL. When they have an advantage, it's so hard to let it slip. It's so hard to take the ball off of them and to wrestle momentum as they slip it through again. And this time it's Tolentino at the edge of it. And she forces Pido into a good save and lets the ball run out for a corner. But when Kaya are in momentum, as we see here, It's like a wave that reaches on shore. It's just hard to stop, and it's just building and building momentum. The first half is winding to a close, but Kai will not want it to end. I think this is Kadag who stands over the ball. Correction, I think that's Carpio. As the ball is whipped in, and it was close to the head of a Kai defender. I think that was Yoshida, but the referee ruled that keeper Jessica Pidot was getting impeded there. Again, Pidot been spectacular so far. The first time that Kai have had a shot on target, it's the first time that the LaSalle net has been breached. This is a Salle side known for their tough defending. They were the second best defensive side in the UAP last season, season 88. It was an unlucky season for them. They once again finished runners-up to rivals FEU and again faced FEU in the final for the third or fourth time in a row. But again, they lost by the narrowest of margins. It was a very painful loss for LaSalle. Goals in the last minute, in the dying minutes of the game. Escarpio manages to keep it in. Tricky feet trying to get past Gonye, and she does. Tolentine this time shifting flanks to the left. And it's going to be Kaya throw-in. She apologizes there because Mandanio was making a run into the box that she didn't spot. Kaya building momentum now. They look more confident on the ball. Throw-in reaches a LaSalle head as they scramble to clear it. I think they're just waiting for the halftime whistle now. Tolentine switched flanks. I think with Carpio, who's now on the right-hand side. Or Mandanio rather has shifted to that position. Almost at the break here, and so far it has been a relatively even game, but for Chaya's first proper shot on target was finished by Alex Carpio. It was after a deflected shot of May Mandanio. But all that was because of the hard work of Inday Tolentine and the combination, that tandem with her strike partner Tolentino. Similar name and certainly similar in the danger they pose, as there will be, as indicated by the referee, 4 minutes of added time, as said by our pitch side announcer. 240 seconds left of additional time here in the first half. 240 seconds left for Kaya to try and find a second goal, or for LaSalle to either weather the storm or to try and equalize. But the way the match has been going, it looks like it's going to be the latter, as a searching ball. An early cross, but no one in the middle to meet it. So on. Tries to spread it out wide as she's done so many times before, but this time Tolentine, aware of the danger, but it's a lovely recovery that she makes. It falls to Kadag. Lemoran fakes it, tries to hold up the play. It falls back to Laika Cuenco, pushing up the field now, as all the Kaya players have been. You can see Yoshida is past the center half line. It's a lofted ball and doesn't make contact with the head of Tolentino. But Kaya recycle. Again, they won't want this half to end. They were on the back foot after LaSalle's chance, but ever since that goal, they've just been surging forward. Momentum completely shifted. Lovely pass through to Mandanio. And she makes contact with Helena Pido. And the ref, there will be a free kick in dangerous territory. This is scoring territory for Kaya. was Maimen Danyo. Really good awareness to cut out the pass. Really good awareness too from Tolentino. We've seen Helena Pido down that side try to play in Banzon so many times, and this time they finally read the play. You can see the sticks a nick there to her right thigh, right shin. It's lovely pressing, proactive pressing from Kaya. That was the left leg actually. And Bebe Lemoran and Inday Tolentino stand over this. Which one is it going to be? Is it going to be the right foot or the right foot of Tolentino or the left foot of Kadag? Of Lemoran, rather. Looks like it's going to be Lemoran. It's a curling shot. Everyone just watched it sail, or rather just just out of play. Seemed to move in slow motion there. Opting for the sneakier left-footed route. LaSalle waiting pretty much for the halftime break. You can see that the players are gassed. 60 seconds left. Kaya's players don't look tired. So you can see a crowd actually forming outside the entrance of the MOA pitch. If you're in the area or if you find yourself in MOA on a Saturday over the next month or so, drop by because admission is free. And again, the product and the football makes for good viewing. Of course, there's always the heat, but the stands where I'm sitting, the stands against the sun, of course, provide really good shade. LaSalle trying to see out the last few seconds. 7 seconds left. Kaya wrestling back possession, and that'll do it. Actually, no, that was actually a foul committed again by Cuenca. She has to be careful because she's on a yellow. The Kaya number 11, the left back, got awarded the yellow early in the match. And looks like we're going to have one last play here, and it's going to be a LaSalle free kick. Again, they're not pouring too many bodies forward. But there's one last chance to try and salvage something before the 15-minute halftime break. Soon swings it in, and it's headed away by Mendaño. Dañoso. Tolentino picks it up and tries to start an attack, like flicking it over the LaSalle defender. Ref still isn't calling for halftime. But as LaSalle continue to wait for the whistle, and you can see referee Jesus Bagado was about to blow the whistle there, put it to his lips, and finally he does. That's the halftime whistle. It's been a very even first half between LaSalle and Kaya. For 30 minutes, neither side really worked anything to test the keeper before LaSalle's Danny Tanhanko created the first big chance of the game. But Kaya sees the first goal in the 40th minute after a deflected shot from Maimen Danyo found Alex Carpio. And they've been growing ever since. They will not have wanted the half to end. But as it is, it's Kaya FC Iloilo 1, LaSalle Lady Booters 0. We'll see you after the halftime break. Welcome back to the MOA football field. It's a hot afternoon here, but the goals have only just started coming. It's match number 5 of the PFF Women's League between Kaya FC Iloilo and the De La Salle University Lady Booters. I'm your commentator, Chino Sator, and it's been, for the most part, a stop-start half for both teams. For around 30 minutes, neither team was able to create much. As you can see there, Kaya were funneling most of their attacks through Inday Tolentino, but every single time that there was a lofted ball over the defense, she was equal to it. LaSalle, for their money, have also created a number of opportunities. In particular, you can see here, this one critical opportunity symbolizes their attack throughout the match. The ball falls kindly, but Pido is wise to it. And for most of Kaya's half, it was these attacks that kept on getting stifled by LaSalle. And LaSalle nearly had a goal of their own to open the scoring. It was a lovely chest control by Banzon and a lovely find to get Tanhanko in behind. Her shot, as you can see, fizzing past Palacios' left-hand side. But after all of this, it was Kaya who began to threaten more and more. Inday Tolentino began to get into the match, as you can see there, her shot testing the waters. And it was this cross to Mai Mendaño that took a deflection and found on the left-hand side an unmarked Alex Carpio to open the scoring. And ever since, LaSalle haven't been the same. That came in the 40th minute. And ever since, Kaya have been pushing and nearly made it 2-0 after pressing LaSalle again. It was this tackle on Mendaño that gave them a free kick. And Bebe Lemoran's sneaky attempt to find the far post nearly snuck into the bottom left corner. As it ends, though, LaSalle are lucky to be 1-0 ahead. And there's a substitution for LaSalle as Megan Alforque steps off for Ushin Joy Valencia. It's a defensive change for LaSalle. They're trying to, no doubt they will try to consolidate defensively before hitting Kaya on the counter as they have done for the last 45 minutes. Again, not the greatest start for the women in yellow. They had a stop-start the first 30 minutes and were on the back foot for 10 minutes after LaSalle's really big chance. But ever since that goal from Carpio, they've been in the ascendancy. And they will be looking to continue that momentum into the second half. As we see referee Jesus Abogado standing alongside LaSalle striker Danny Tanhanko, last top scorer in the UAP season for LaSalle, 3 goals. As Abogado blows his whistle and LaSalle kick us off in the second half. You can also see 2 subs for Kaya. Joyce Anrubia and Carmela Altiche on for Bebe Lemoran and Cristino Lieza. Surprising that it isn't like a Cuenco getting subbed off, the other fullback, as she was on the yellow. But as you can see from our pitch announcer, there are also a pair of substitutions for LaSalle. That is Kay Balateria and Stephanie Gonya, replaced by Kezia Rodriguez and Ushin Valencia. Both sides attempt to freshen up after what has been a first half marked mostly by half chances and 2 clear-cut ones, the other one of Kaya's, which was finished. You can see the introduction of this player has forced a structural change in Kaya. Yoshida, who was playing as a center back down the right-hand side, has now shifted to the left, switched places with Rhea Chan, as the goal scorer Alex Carpio takes a tumble after squaring up with Gonye. You can see there the substitute immediately getting involved, Ushin Valencia, but Kaya capitalized on a loose pass. Luckily for LaSalle, there was a lack of communication in between the attacker, who was blindsided by the pass. This lovely turn from Regarde. Haven't said her name that much in the first half. She was thoroughly marked by the Kaya defense. Of course, this is the first season of the PFF Women's League since 2025 and the 3rd since the pandemic. If you recall, the 2025 season was won by Kaya in a last gasp attempt against Stallion. In the penultimate match, they were trailing Stallion 2-1 before a really late goal from then Kaya striker Julius assist Ross gave them the draw, and Kaya needed a win on the final match day to seal it. And with a 1-1 draw against Makati in the dying minutes of the game, it was Leka Cuenco, the fullback, who popped up with a goal to give Kaya a title in the most dramatic of circumstances. Of course, it's worth catching you up on the format of this league. There are only 4 teams, 2 of which are playing today. And it's a double round robin format. So each team will play each other twice. And since there are 4 teams, we will see 6 matches in total. This is already the third of Kaya's 6 games. As I mentioned earlier, their next game will be next Saturday, July 25 against UP at 7 p.m. And preceding that will be LaSalle's 4th game in the rematch with FEU at 4 p.m. And we're almost nearly at the halfway point of this season so far. And so far, Kaya have been the benchmark. They are 6 points out of 6, and if this continues, they will be 9 points out of 9. They're already 3 points clear at the top of the table. As they press forward again, Mindanao intercepted by this number 90, Valencia. Ledi getting involved just 3 minutes in as a sub, down in that center midfield role. And that's Tanhanko who goes down tumbling. Valencia, defender, listed here in the team sheet, but Coach Junmark Saraga has placed her in a defensive midfield role, no doubt to consolidate what has been so far for LaSalle a good defense that was broken open by one moment in the 40th minute. Ball is launched forward and headed away by the subbed-in right back for Kaya. That is, I think it was Carmela Altiche. As LaSalle tried to wrestle back possession, try to establish some sort of footing here. But Yoshida steps in quickly, and Kaya regain hold of the match once more. Cuenco, remember, on a yellow, as we said earlier. Tolentin dropping very deep in Tolentin. She has been very involved in the game so far. It was her cross that led to the goal. And she's been at the heart of a lot of these Kaya attacks down the right-hand side. But this one comes down the left instead as Carpio beats her marker and wins a free kick after being taken down. I think that's by Tanhanko. Correction, that was by the substitute Kezia Rodriguez. Lovely move from Alex Carpio, who actually, before joining Kaya, applied her trade in the lower divisions of the U.S. with the Oakland Soul before being spotted by Coach Mark Torcaso and the women's team. One of a few foreign players in this Kaya squad foreign experience. You can also count Ray Chan, who played in Stallion and was playing in the U.S. also for a while back, as a shot on target there, safely into the hands of Pido. But as I was saying, Ray Chan also experienced in the U.S. and Kaya forward Isabella Tolentino actually played college football in the U.S. for Westcliff University. Top scorer in this league so far with 4 goals, tied with her teammate Inday Tolentin. And that's a lovely ball that the LaSalle defense doesn't get. The referee, the linesman rather, rules it out for offside. That was Carpio trying to get her second, trying to get her brace. Or rather, that was the left back. I think that was Onrubia. Joyce Onrubia, of course, no stranger to continental level either. She was in fact Kaya's only goal scorer in their Women's Champions League campaign in 2024. She scored that late equalizer against Iranian side Bam Khatoon. Kaya, of course, didn't make it past the group stage, but they finished with 1 loss and 2 draws. Of course, 1 goal, and that 1 goal was scored by Onrubia. As the ball just bouncing around in the midfield here, Kaya regained possession. Searching ball forward, trying to find Tolentin. If you're Kaya, you want to get Inday Tolentino involved as much as possible. Again, the comparison might be a strange one, but similar to the way that you see teams like Argentina work with Lionel Messi, in which they try to find him as much as possible, try to play the ball to him as much as possible, because when the ball is with them, you create chances of this quality. And whenever Tolentino is on the ball, Kaya always look more dangerous. They always look like they're in danger and in with a chance of scoring. Of course, Tolentino no stranger to some of these Salle players, and she's no stranger to them either. She was terrorizing them in the UAP a couple of seasons ago. It's Kaya playing that typical patient football that is characteristic of both the men's and women's sides. Coach Dave Basa actually never played for Kaya, but the coaching is ingrained in the Kaya DNA. Of course, Coach Dave Basa played for Maharlika and for JPV. But the DNA is the same. As that's a careless giveaway and it's a loose touch. And it's off the upright, or rather the crossbar. Looked like the shot was off from Tolentino. But she's a dangerous presence no matter where she finds herself or what kind of foot or area she finds herself on. Always poses a danger. Scored a really good curling shot against UP in that 7-1 win. Just a few minutes into the game. She's looking to do the same here. Kaya now opting for a more attacking 4-3-3 that they used against UP. They were previously doing a 4-4-2. Carpio being hounded by Gonye. And it's a lovely ball to Pido, but again, it falls in a dangerous area just in between the half space between the defense and the goalkeeper, which Kaya always exploit off the shoulder of the last defender. Kadag. Tolentino, that's a lovely ball. Again, in that specific area off the last shoulder of the defender. Placed just over their heads so that someone running in behind could catch them off guard. Lovely move from Banzon down the left-hand side. Gets past Cuenco. She finds Danyoso in the middle. The touch eludes her. And Kaya pick it up. Judy Banzon, of course, won UAP Rookie of the Year last year in her first year with LaSalle. She helped them get to the final where they fell to FEU 2-0. It was a heartbreaking result for the Lady Booters. Goals in added time in both halves. Continue the drought left by the Booters ever since 2017 when that generation won both the Women's League and UAP. Carpio moving inside, and she finds Chan. Again, switch places with Yoshida. That's a lovely ball, and the ref doesn't call on Rubia. Lifts it over Pido, and it's 2-0 to Kaya. It's a lovely flowing move. It catches LaSalle defense off guard. It's one of those dangerous lofted passes again. And this time, you see the two substitutes combining and celebrating. Carmela Altiche and the goal scorer, Joyce Onrubia. That's her second goal of the tournament. She scored against FEU in the opening game, and she scores again here. You can see it's a lovely ball. I think that's from Mai Mendanyo. Catches the LaSalle defense off guard, onside. And Pido again rushes out of goal early. But this time, it's such a perfectly weighted ball that it falls to her feet before she can get to it. It's a lovely pass from Mendanyo. Or Altiche rather. The two substitutes combining. It's a lovely dinked finish from Joyce Onrubia. You can see how much it means to her. It's a lovely goal. And those substitutes by Coach Dave Basa have paid off for the women in yellow. The South defense tiring already, only 10 minutes into the second half. And you can see one of the center backs, Jelena Soon, in need of some medical treatment. Kaya took a while for them to get into momentum in the first half. Scored a goal with only 5 minutes left to play, but they've scored a goal here after only 10 minutes of play. And just like the first half, they will look to build momentum as we see on the sidelines. Camille Rodriguez, no stranger to the women's football scene. She played in the women's league with Ateneo. She has also racked up over 30 appearances with the Filipinas, 42 caps, 11 goals. She's in the squad that qualified in the World Cup in both 2022 and 2026. Usually a starter for Kaya, but this time is more of a weapon off the bench. We were talking about players in Kaya with international experience, and you look at Chanin, you look at Carpio, and you look at Tolentino with international experience, but both Rodriguez and Shalakadag have also played the trade abroad. In fact, both have played internationally and done well. Cam Rodriguez, of course, was one of the first Filipinas to move abroad in 2022, 2023 when she played with Lords FC in India. She scored 7 goals in, I think it was 10, 11 games. Then a couple of years later, Shalakadag followed up by moving to Indian powerhouse Odisha FC. Now they're both back with Kaya, but they brought that experience with them. As I think it was Mai Mendaño taken off. Of course, very different profile to Rodriguez. But we see her already on the ball, trying to establish possession, calling for it as well. Kadag, this Kaya side are in flow state now, and when it gets into flow state, it's very hard to stop a team like Kaya. Again, questionable from the referee there, but Kaya continued to play on. The referee doesn't blow his whistle, and this time he does, but instead of a foul, it's for an offside. Referee is Jesus Abogado, alongside assistant referees Analu Arrogante and Paul Galicia, and fourth official Joma Clemente. Our referee assessor is Ravelo Saluria. And we're already an hour into this game, and it's Kaya FC 2, De La Salle University 0. Kaya opened the scoring after a stop-start 40 minutes, and they opened the scoring the 41st minute with Alex Carpio. And then 10 minutes into the second half, made it 2-0 with a lovely chipped finish from substitute Joyce Onrubia. La Salle, for their money, will feel hard done by. They've had a couple of good opportunities, but have not found the back of the net just yet. And Kaya are only growing in momentum. Carpio. It's a lovely ball, and Cam Rodriguez is in, and she tries the dink finish that Onrubia did earlier. This time, so Pido is wise to it. Again, though, it's a lovely forward pass. I think that was from Alex Carpio this time. Waited perfectly just in behind the defense. The LaSalle defense that's been solid all game, but they are tiring. As you can see, there are lazy mistakes and hospital passes. This is where fitness comes into play. Kaya have been training on and off for a few months now. These college UAP teams are just getting into their preseason in preparation for UAP in September. Altiche. Correction for the assist earlier, it was actually not Altiche, but it was Mai Mendaño, the substitute, or the one who was substituted off. The ball takes deflections there, and the referee agrees with the clamors from offside from the LaSalle defense. Alex Carpio is so dangerous. Already has 2 goals in this competition and wants to get third. 4 goals, 4 Kaya players now with multiple goals this season. Tolentino and Tolentino with 4 each, neither on the score sheet today. And both Joyce Onrubia and Alex Carpio are on to. The other Kaya goal scorer is Cam Rodriguez, who scored a goal against UP in the 7-1 win last week. As Kaya look to press forward again, press home their advantage even further. Altiche playing at left back now, and Cuencos shifted to right back. Chan. It's an incisive pass in the middle that LaSalle defense just cuts out. And again, it's a ball looking for the run of Alex Carpio, but she wasn't advanced enough this time. Dispossessed, and now the ball is with Danyoso. Calls for advantage there, and the referee lets play go on. Danyoso wins it back. That's a lovely tackle on Carpio. And the referee is now calling for a substitution for Kaya. And this time it's Irma Balakua. Summing on for is Jezabela Tolentino. No goals today for Tolentino. But what's important is that her team is now 2 goals to the good. And as it stands, 6 points clear at the top of the table before FEU play UP tonight. Although the game is far from finished. If you're LaSalle, you want to use these 27 minutes to make subs and to somehow gain an advantage over a team that looks very defensively. But that's not by doing that. Rodriguez, and it's a goal only 4 minutes into a game, Cam Rodriguez. And it's 3-0 to Kaya. I was just talking about how LaSalle should press on their advantage, but Kaya instead robbed LaSalle of the ball after a high press. And it's a substitute, Cam Rodriguez, with her second goal of the season and her second one off the bench. Sloppy defending from LaSalle in possession. You can see that's Helena Pido giving it away, and her sister was not able to stop the ball crossed in the middle. Kaya in the ascendancy again. Like a wave arriving on shore, it's just impossible to stop them when they gain momentum. And the ball played forward again, and this time it's Tolentino again, looking to get another assist. She was the one that gave the assist to Cam Rodriguez. It's crossed into the middle. And this time, not enough purchase on the header from Monrubia. Trying to get her second of the game. Of course, it's not the only Philippine football we'll be having for a while. The men's national team kick off their Hyundai Cup, their AFF Cup campaign in 10 days as another hospital pass, and Rodriguez was in there, and LaSalle just dealt with it. But we have plenty of Philippine football yet to come. The men's team play in the Hyundai Cup in 10 days, in July 28th, with a home game against Myanmar. That'll be in Clark. The other home game is against Thailand. That's on August 4. We also have away games against Myanmar and against Laos. And there's also our AFC Women's Under-17 qualifiers. Again, looking to make their third straight Under-17 Asian Cup. They're in a group with 2 tough opponents, Uzbekistan and Bangladesh. And of course, we have Kaya has football this month in August, next month. They have matches in the AFC Women's Champions League as the corner is swung in. Headed away by LaSalle in a dangerous area. Not enough power behind the shot. Chan tries one from distance, and it seems harmlessly wide. We also have the Asian Games in September. Both our under-23 men's team and our women's team are participating in that. And for those of you who are missing PFL football, the season returns on August 22. It was a very dramatic end to the season last time with Manila Digger and Taguig. And the sides will be also representing the Philippines in the upcoming AFC Challenge League and Champions League 2 playoffs, which will also be held in August. So plenty of football on the horizon for Philippine football. And for those of you who are interested in the state of world football, at 5 a.m. tomorrow is the World Cup third place playoff between France and England. Both sides would have liked to make the World Cup final, but they will have settled for the third place playoff. And then on Monday morning, 3 a.m., is the biggest day in football, the biggest night in football of the last 4 years. It's the World Cup final. It's Spain against Argentina. It's Lionel Messi against Lamine Yamal. As is a missed clearance from LaSalle. And nearly a penalty there as there is a touch in the penalty area. And the ball out for a goal kick. And that was, again, Tolentine threatening. Always a threatening presence down the right-hand side. Always pestering the LaSalle defense. This time one of her markers, I think at the Selena Soon, or rather the Selena Pido, coming down with cramp. Lovely touch from Inday Tolentine. And you can see there the ball crossed the line. It was out. But it's a lovely effort from Tolentine nonetheless. Been such a danger down this left-hand side. You can see Chanid Danyoso asking for a change. It's a center-back change for LaSalle. Their center-backs, of course, it's more tiring. It's, as is the saying in football, it's more tiring to defend than to attack. You can see it in the LaSalle defenders here. Coming down with cramp, Helena Pido, and she needs to be replaced. LaSalle have a number of defensive options off the bench. Of course, the lady subbed in Ushin Valencia, but she has been playing more of a defensive midfield role. As is the FIFA rules, she is now, Helena Pido is now off the pitch and will be treated off the pitch, and we'll see if she can return to action. But in the meantime, Kaya are looking to press home their advantage again. Again, this half has looked like non-stop Kaya dominance. LaSalle haven't had a sniff at goal in the next 20 minutes. And it's another chance for Camille Rodriguez, and it's another offside. It's Kaya's fourth offside of the game. But again, when you have these willing runners like Camille Rodriguez and Alex Carpio, the defense is always going to have to be on their toes. Been such a weapon off the bench. So LaSalle make a substitution. I don't know if you can see it yet, but it is number 26, Bernadette Florano. Another defensive change for LaSalle, this time to replace the injured Helena Pido. Kadag, that's a lovely ball. Tolentine again sprinting to reach it. This time she goes by herself. Blocked by a LaSalle defender. They're throwing bodies in the way of that. Again, Kaya just trying to get the ball to Tolentine as much as possible. It looks like Emma Balakua has actually shifted to the center back role, and it looks like Saki Yoshida's pushed up now to defensive mid. Again, it's no stranger to Kaya. We've actually seen him do his times in the men's team, although it was the inverse. You'd seen midfielder Kaisha Yamazaki double as center back for Kaya. And here's substitution for LaSalle. It's Bernadette Florano, another imposing center back, getting subbed on for the injured and tiring Helena Pido. Is it? As Kaya have a free kick, and it's Inday Tolentine and Chalakadag standing over this. I think that's Bebe Lemoran rather, sorry. Again, Lemoran came close with a sneaky attempt at the far post at the end of the first half. Will she do it again, or will it be the right foot of Tolentine? It looks like it's going to be Tolentine this time, and it's a low drive. And it's another one now. That's the follow-up into the grateful hands again of Jessica Pido. Mixing up the set plays there, Kaya. As they press higher again, Alex Carpio, really proactive in the team press on Rubia. Recycles it back out to Aticha, the substitute. Carpio, that's a lovely touch to get past one defender, but she can't get past the second as another substitution is made. Or rather, Referee Jesus Abogado is now calling for a hydration break. LaSalle in desperate need of a regroup after the last 30 minutes or so have been non-stop Kaya domination. Aside from one free kick in the Kaya area, they haven't had a sniff at goal. And the women in yellow have pressed on their advantage. They made it 3-0. If you're just joining, after leading 1-0 in the first half, Kaya came out of the gates in the second half. And in the 55th minute, it was a Joyce Onrubia goal. She was played through by Maiman Daniel, and she finished with a lovely chip over keeper Jessica Pido. And then in the 65th minute, not even 10 minutes after coming on, substitute Camille Rodriguez tapped the ball in the LaSalle net after lovely pressing work from Inday Tolentin. All three of them now up to 2 goals for the season. Of course, leading the line are still Inday Tolentino with 4 and Jezabel Tolentino with 4, although she has been subbed off. With this now, Kaya are up to 14 goals in 3 games. That's an average of almost 5 goals, actually 4.3 goals per game. And so far, even though their defensive issues haven't showed, they were unable to keep clean sheets against UP and against FEU. But so far, Ina Palacios' net has remained unbreached today. You could see Kaya waiting for referee Jesus Abogado to give the call and take the throw in. Carmela Tiche, who's doing a few keepy ups there by the sidelines, plays it to Carpio. Down the middle to Yoshida. Kadag on the turn is dispossessed, and LaSalle can attack now. There's only 2 Kaya defenders back. Tanhanko beats her marker, but is lovely tracking back from Ray Chan. She wins a LaSalle corner or a throw-in in dangerous territory. I wasn't able to make it out which it was. Looks like it will be a throw-in deep in LaSalle, deep in Kaya territory. This is the first time, or one of the first times, this half LaSalle has managed to get so deep into Kaya territory, such as the dominance that they've shown in the second half. And they give it away there, and possession's back now with Kaya. As Kaya make another substitution, or are about to make another substitution, on the sidelines is I think it's Anaya Soto in. Kaya just trying to keep the ball now. There's 14 minutes left in the game. 3-goal advantage. We've seen, though, at the World Cup what sitting back can do for you when you're on the lead. We've seen a number of comebacks from teams like Argentina and from Belgium. LaSalle will be heartened by that. But so far, Kaya are pressing even higher. Now they have a corner. It's their 4th or 5th corner of the game. As they whip it in, and that's Carpio rising highest to meet it. Deflects off her head and not for a goal kick. Again, Kaya with the high press. This time it's against, I think that's Helena Soon. And now you see three more Kaya substitutions. Irish Navaja and Anaya Soto and the keeper Rania Malonzo in for Ina Palacios. Ina Palacios, who hasn't had to do much since that 30th minute chance for LaSalle by Danitan Hanko. Didn't force Palacios into a save, but it's the closest that LaSalle have come to troubling her. Also off for Kaya are Shela Kadag and the ever-threatening Alex Carpio. With Kaya will lose down the left-hand side in energy, they will gain in new ideas. Carpio is an explosive, tricky midfielder, but again, they're trying to see this game out and save it for the rematch against UP to be played next Saturday at 7 p.m. I think I have used up around 5 or 6 of their subs. Dangerous play here from Kaya. They're allowing the South defenders to press them. But then as soon as they get back in their half, the defenders shy away. Altiche, searching for options. Chan, very untroubled today aside from that one chance earlier. Navaja, looking to start the game off well, but she's dispossessed by a LaSalle defender. This time it's Danyoso. Bodies Altiche, and Altiche comes out the victor there. And Navaja, a lovely nutmeg on the LaSalle fullback. I think that was Gonye. But LaSalle get it back. Rodriguez wins the throw-in for LaSalle. As it stands, Kaya will remain top of the league with 9 points and a whopping plus 11 goal difference or plus 10 goal difference. LaSalle will remain in third for now, unless UP wins by a big margin against FEU later. Again, this is a double round robin format, so each team will play each other twice. Each team is guaranteed 7 matches because after the 6 games, there will be a final to decide between first and second and the third place playoff between third and fourth. So each team is guaranteed 7 games. First touches of the ball for the substitute Rania Malonzo. Rare that you see keepers getting subbed off, but Palacios hadn't had much to do today. As Rodriguez gives a lovely ball to an onrushing Talentin rather. She holds it up and squares it back. Rodriguez deflects off the bottom of the post. Lovely play there between Rodriguez and Inday Talentin. I thought that pass would either fall to the onrushing, I think that was on Rubia, but it was just too much. Nine minutes to go, and the result is all but certain. But again, as we've seen, nothing is certain in football until the final whistle. Talentin looking for options at the end of the box. I think that was Yoshida, now up at defensive mid, and it's a shot. I don't know if it took a deflection, and the referee signals that it did. Another corner for Kaya, this time on the left-hand side. Kaya using this tournament not just as a tournament in itself, but also as preparation for, and that's a chance again for Kaya. I'm not sure who that was, but it took a deflection. Another shot takes another deflection. Ball ricocheting around in the box, and again, Cam Rodriguez at the end of another Kaya pass. Again, at the end of another Kaya threatening play. She's been a really good substitute for Kaya. Really good energy off the bench. But again, Kaya are using this not just as training but also as preparation for their upcoming campaign in the AAC Women's Champions League. That was a shot from Onrubia, who was actually their only goal scorer in their last campaign. Remember that campaign, they first tied 0-0 with College of Asian Scholars, and then they tied 1-1 with Bam Katoon. That was where Onrubia scored a last-minute equalizer before losing 4-0 to Melbourne City. As Kaya attempt to recycle the corner, they pass it all the way back to Rhea Chan, who's been very comfortable today in that side of defense. Trying to look again for Tolentino, Tolentin rather. And that was Laika Cuenco. Played most of the match on a yellow, but has been impressive ever since. Chan, hounded by Tanhanko, still running in those legs, but again, with this type of possession football, Kaya are playing, tires the attackers out. It's impossible to press a team that can keep possession as well as Kaya have. And now, they have the ball attacking area on Rubia, and the cross, it just mishit. Again, Rodriguez in the middle, and Navaja in the middle as well. Six minutes to go in the game. And Kaya are not done yet. Soto took a shot there straight at Pido. That's one of the easiest saves she's had to make this second half. Untroubled in the first half, aside from the goal, but she's been thoroughly peppered and tested by the Kaya defense in the last 45 minutes. Another aerial duel won by Yoshida. She's been really good in that defensive mid role ever since getting moved there. And LaSalle just cannot find any answers to the questions Kaya are posing. Cannot beat the press. They cannot beat Kaya's press. Although they can catch them off guard like that. It's good pressing from Tanhanko and from the substitute Rodriguez. But again, the composure wins out in the end, and Kaya remain unscathed once more. Back to the keeper, sub-keeper Rania Malonzo. The sun is about to set here, and the heat of the afternoon has finally dissipated, and the match is similarly cooling out. It's not being played at the breakneck pace that it used to be earlier in the half. Navaja, cut out by the South defender. Both sides just looking to preserve their legs for the next game in a week. Teams are allowed to make a larger number of substitutions, but still tiring for all the legs of the players out there. Rodriguez skips past two. She cuts inside, skips past another one. And this time she looks for a cross in the middle, cut out by number 21, and it's in. But the referee calls her offside against Inday Tolentin. She can't believe it. She thought she had made it 4. And it's onside from that replay. I'm not sure what the referee has seen there to call it as an offside. Maybe the ball was out of play before Soto crossed the ball. But either way, Tolentin has been denied a goal that she deserves. And now she's pressing to get one. Disbelief on her face. She couldn't believe it. It was almost 4-0 for Kaya. 1 or 2 assists today for Tolentin. That would have been the cherry on top. And now you can see she's shifted towards the middle now. She wants that goal. She's been playing in the right-hand channel all game long, and now she's shifted towards the middle. It looks like Kaya are giving off the impression that they are the ones chasing the lead rather than LaSalle. When you look at the scoreboard, they're actually 3 goals up. Got to give credit to Coach Dave Basa and the Kaya coaching staff. Thoroughly professional performance today. You had to weather the storm in the first half, like a very dangerous period of play for LaSalle in the 30th minute to the 40th minute. But after scoring a goal, Kaya settled in and their nerves vanished. And ever since, they've just been the picture of cool and the epitome of cool. Yoshida trying to... There's a collision in the pitch there as that referee Jesus Abogado waves on. And now he brings it back. There's a collision between... I'm not sure who the player is. It wasn't Yoshida. It was Kaya left back. I think it was Carmela Altiche. And Altiche restarts the play. Chan. Searching ball into the middle. Rodriguez tries heading it on. LaSalle, tired legs out there, failed to clear it. And Kaya press even further. Altiche, head up and looking for runners. She finds Soto, whose touch just lets her down. And again, tiring LaSalle. You can see Danyoso tried to sprint there, but the legs just didn't want to follow. To tiring LaSalle side there, and you see substitutions being made on the bench for LaSalle. We'll see them in a bit. One of the substitutions is Maria Asuncion. As you see, I think that's player number 15, Lara Lagarde, down on the pitch. She gets up. LaSalle substitute still waiting by the sideline. They haven't got in just yet. Kaya playing on. Danyoso looking to create one last bit of magic. Try to salvage something for the Lady Booters. It goes back to Danyoso. She fakes it. And that's the closest they've come to troubling Rania Malonzo in goal. It was really good work between between Danyoso and Rodriguez. Been a real live wire from LaSalle coming on Cassie Rodriguez. As the referee indicates, 4 minutes of added time. 240 seconds until the match is over. And now it looks all but certain. It's going to be a Kaya as Yoshida gives the ball away. Danyoso is played in by Rodriguez. Danyoso! And LaSalle get their consolation goal. It's Chenny Danyoso. Yoshida robbed in midfield. Danyoso aware of the danger. And it's a lovely finish. Kaya's clean sheet again spoiled at the last. And Danyoso gets her second of the tournament. It's a consolation goal for LaSalle, but it was one that is going to hearten the team. For the whole second half, they have been pressed and stifled by Kaya. And it's a giveaway by Yoshida, robbed by Tanhanko, who plays in Danyoso. And it's a lovely finish past Rania Malonzo. First time Kaya been robbed in the midfield the second half. And now, as we see, the LaSalle substitutions are happening. Regarder is being replaced by Orinson. And Maria Asuncion comes on for Kia Balateria. LaSalle make it 3-1, and Kaya looking to respond. Tolentino with a tired shot straight into the hands of Pido. Again, the result's all but certain, but that goal is going to do a lot towards LaSalle's morale. They've been looking for that chance all game, and they finally finished it. Can they get a second? Ball is played out. Soto. Altiche. That ball stayed in play there. Two minutes remaining in additional time. Just to throw it to next week's matches. Kaya's game will be a rematch against UP, who they defeated 7-1 last week. That will be played next Saturday on July 25 at 7 p.m. LaSalle's game will precede that as they rematch with their rivals FEU at 4 p.m. on the same day. Again, FEU still play UP later. In UAP Season 88, they defeated UP 4-0 both times. And will this be a repeat of the same dominance, the same thrashing, as a rough challenge there from Soto pushes, I think that's Gonya to ground. Gonya's been up and down that right-hand side all day. She's had to mark Alex Carpio, and she's still full of energy, still full of running. Here's the substitute, Ushin Valencia, standing over the ball. Can LaSalle get a second? It would be too little too late, but could they get a second and trouble Kaya even further? Referee just fixing the wall. Soto standing too near it. Valencia delivers it straight into the hands of Malonzo. That'll be good for her confidence. Safe catch. And she boots it clear. Missed by the LaSalle defender. Picked up by Talentin. Still full of running. Not enough, though, to trouble the keeper. As LaSalle push on with a few seconds left. I presume there will be a few more added because of the goal that was scored. The ball just bouncing around now between sides. Very tired legs out there. Been a thoroughly dominant performance from Kaya today, but LaSalle will be cheered up by that consolation goal. It'll be a talking point again for Kaya. They still have not kept a clean sheet in this league so far. Conceded one goal to FEU, conceded one goal to UP, conceded one goal now to LaSalle. It all seemed sure to head to a 3-0 win. But again, a giveaway in the midfield gave LaSalle a goal. The game's not over yet. The referee whistles here for a free kick at the edge of the area. And it's a dangerous free kick as well. We're already 1 minute past the 4 minutes of added time. This may well be the last kick of the game. Could it be an emphatic last kick of the game? I'm not sure who stands over the free kick. But no, that is going to be a left-footed finish. Pido organizing her wall. Referee Jesus Abogado still trying to fix the wall, fix the errors in it. And he blows his whistle. Takes it, and it sails over the bar. And that's the last kick of the game. It's a solid win for Kaya FC Iloilo. Not the way they would have wanted. They would have liked to keep a clean sheet. But still, it's an impressive display from the defending two-time champions, the women in yellow, Kaya Iloilo. Took the lead in the 40th minute after an Alex Carpio goal. Made it 2-0 with a lovely dinked finish from Joyson Rubia. Then a tap in from Cam Rodriguez made it 3 before a consolation goal was scored by Chenida Nyoso in the 91st minute. It's back to the drawing board for LaSalle. It's another win on the road for Kaya. And it's another 3 points for the women in yellow. Don't leave though, because in just an hour we'll have our second game of the day. It's going to be FEU against UP. So don't leave. Stay tuned and we'll be back in a bit.
So, what does that feel like for you?
It feels just such a privilege to be able to just be playing in games in general out here. To be able to come out as a team. Of course, it's a team effort all the time. I wouldn't be able to score the goals without the effort of every single person sa team. Pero yeah, just team effort, and I'm really proud of how we played. Unfortunately, yung goal namin was not to concede at all since we've been conceding like one goal every game. So unfortunately, we didn't meet that goal. But again, back to the drawing board to see what we can work on, especially going into Champions League next month.
Alright, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Let's go lang.
Bye.
Go lang.
Thank you. Next month na pala yung Champions League nila.
Okay na. Okay na kayo, guys.